everyone. Is this on?
Yes.
Good. So people are still coming in the back. So I'm David Seltzer. I'm a proud member of this community. I'm here to welcome you all. If you would at this point, I want to greet your neighbors first.
Oh, hi. Devices so they don't go off during the rest of the service. So I spoke, I think, 5 or 6 weeks ago, and I didn't really finish. I ran out of time, so I didn't finish up. I was welcoming people in different ways, and I actually had people who were at Reverend Carol's first service. They raised their hand. I left off this one. First of all, I want to welcome all the newcomers. Now, I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand or anything. That will come later. But I just wanted to mention that everyone in this room has been in your shoes right now. It was the first time you came to this place of worship. And so there's a commonality of feeling there. The other thing I wanted to talk about was how after you've come a couple of times, you notice how chummy people are and how they know each other well. One of the ways that happens mostly is by taking classes, and that makes a big difference. So I would wonder if anybody who's ever taken a class, either here in this place of worship or at the Learning Center, would you please raise your hand? People who haven't should look around. So you'll see then that that's the next step, is taking the class. I said this before. I used to think that GGCSL meant Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Learning and not Living. And I believe that, especially after I took my first class. So now we're going to have a song or a chant you can sing along with. It'll be on the screen, followed by some amazing words from Reverend Catherine Sutter.
All right, everybody. All right. Now you're starting to know what to expect. Right?
Okay.
We've already moved. Okay, so some of you have already moved. If you've already moved, that counts. Okay. But if you're in the place that you always sit in, even if it's your first time and you're sitting where you always sit when you go someplace to a center or something like that, what I want you to do is change to a different seat. Like move forward, move back, change sides, trade places with the person you came with, or if you're really brave, sit with somebody you don't know. There's no way we can change our perspective on life and our experience if we're not going to change our seats. Yes. All right, now once you get there and you're all settled in and comfy and you feel nice and safe and rooted, I want you to stand up. And this is why I like this. I have you stand for the opening song because it's a shift between being an observer and being a participant. So when we stand up together and we take our space and we sing out and our vibrations individually blend together and fill the room, then we become a unified congregation doing this experience together. Does this make sense? Yes. Okay, so most of you know this song, and for those who are not here this morning because they're in Tahoe with Sabrina having a party, let's sing out so they can hear us there. Okay, let's go.
1, 2, beat. Put me now in the spirit, ready? Are you ready?
Stand in God and speak the word for all of us. Blessing this service, this time. I claim for each of us the willingness to be wide open to the pouring forth of the goodness that is the source and the substance of all of life. And that this time, as we spend together, listening to words of wisdom and inspiration, I know that we are all uplifted. I touch my heart and I feel it beating universally. I look out and I see the light in each person's eyes. And I claim gratitude gratitude for knowing that this time, when we come together to celebrate and recognize and realize this knowledge, it is so very, very good, and we each get a gift. Something beyond our wildest imaginings. Because that's what good life is, and that is God's life, and that is our life now. And so in gratitude and in joy, I can step back and observe it, witness it, honor it, and bow to it. I bow to our beloved Reverend Mary, as she herself allows that to speak through her. And we who sit and listen, we receive good things. And so in this recognition and my gratitude, I let it all go. Because it's done. And done very well indeed. And so it is.
First time I came to this church in the 1990s or something, they sang that song and I fell in love. Marcia Sutton was here, Marcia Leger was singing, and that was a wonderful moment for me. And I'm still. So, let's see, we're going to sing a song here that we can only sing this time of year. And I love to sing the song because it only works this time of year because it's the end of summer. It feels like summer's coming in on us. I know, isn't it amazing? So this song is called The Late Days of Summer. And it's about really feeling the fullness of the way summer just, you know, that big breath you take in summer. And it's like starting to relax and just completely enjoy it. And then just as you get used to it, Mary comes along and says, move!
Stand up.
Don't get too comfortable. You know, when Mary came, you know, we got 2 for 1. You know, we have a full-time percussionist now.
Water is smooth.
laws of nature, the dark and the light. Grace unfolding in its own sweet time. Freedom of chaos and the comfort of rhyme. All summer days must come to an end. Make the most of your time with lovers and friends. There will come a time to let it all go, to drop everything and rest in the flow. In the late days of summer, late days of summer, late days of summer in California. Late days of summer, late days of summer, late days of summer in California.
Coming forward with packets right now. Now, if you're here all the time, you know what that's all about. If you're here for the first time, you don't know what that's all about. It's about you. So if you're here for the first time this morning, we're really, really happy to have you with us. And we hope that you'll find in the music and the message and the fellowship good reasons to come back and check it out further and become part of all this. But we would like to recognize you just by giving you a packet of information about us, a little gift. And so would you give us a wave if this is your first Sunday? You don't have to stand up or anything. And we'll hand you a packet, and that will give you some information about us. And then, if you take that packet and open it up, you'll find out that there's a blue card inside that you can fill out. And I don't have my little book up here this morning, but if you fill it out, you will get a free booklet called What Religious Science Teaches. It's a little blue booklet, and you can pick it up at the membership table, and you can drop off your blue card over there. And we hope to see you again in the future. So thank you very much for coming and spending your morning with us. We have been, along with all of Centers for Spiritual Living, focused on a theme this year of 100 years of science of mind. Our founder, Ernest Holmes, published his first book 100 years ago, before he even knew this was going to be a spiritual organization. So we've been enjoying this teaching for 100 years. And this month, our theme has been spiritual mind treatment, which is our form of prayer. And the take that I took on it is spiritual mind treatment, the technique, and the fire, the two aspects that we need to be aware of. This young mountain climber had just about reached the top of the peak of the mountain he was climbing when his foot slipped and he was suddenly hurtling down a deep vertical abyss. And halfway down, his equipment caught on a small rock. Now, why he didn't have cables to help him, I don't know, or how that worked, but caught on a small rock, and he found himself dangling precariously midway between the top and the jagged rocks below. And as his equipment began to slip off that little rock, he was tightly clinging to a branch just within his reach that wasn't much more than a twig. And as it began to crack, he called out loudly, "God, please help me." And to his surprise, a booming voice came out of the sky that said, "Do not be afraid, my son, you are safe in my hands." And the climber breathed a sigh of relief and said, "Oh, thank you, God. What do I do? What should I do?" And the voice said, "Let go." And the young man said, "But are you going to catch me if I fall? I mean, how do I know that you'll save me if I let go?" And the voice simply said, "Trust and have faith, my son." And there was a pause. And the young man said, "Is there anybody else up there?" Letting go in the face of what appears to us to be danger or the unknown is not easy to do. And most of us would rather stay with the known even when it's not our favorite thing than get lost in the unknown. So today you received a bookmark. Yes? Did everybody get one of these? No? If you can get a bookmark, raise your hand because we have them for you. We'll bring them. We've got 3 or 4 over here and 3 or 4 over here who need bookmarks. Just leave your hand up while I talk and they'll come and find you. These little bookmarks are kind of your cheat sheet based on what we've been talking about this month. So the 5 steps of spiritual mind treatment are a form of prayer or affirmative prayer, and a little tagline to begin each step of the treatment to help you keep in mind how it flows and be able to do it more easily. So we got some over here on this side too that also need them, about 4, I think. Thank you, Suzanne. And then on the back there's a little blessing from me. So this is a bookmark. You can take it and put it in whatever you're reading currently. And whenever you're feeling a little agitated or down, or like you'd like to cling on, but it's really time to let go, you can use this as a helpmate for you in making a change. I want to talk a little bit about treatment, just to take a review here. So when we talk about the technique of anything that we're learning, it's always awkward at the beginning to try and learn it. We have to learn the form of it. We have to learn the guidelines. We have to learn how to practice correctly. So if we're playing scales, that might seem boring. Maybe we want to play jazz or rock and roll, but until we understand where the notes are and how to do that, it's kind of difficult. You can't even break the rules well if you don't know what they are. So we have to learn the technique of spiritual mind treatment, or our form of prayer, which is a little awkward at the beginning for people. But what happens when you practice it is you begin to spark the fire. The fire is the movement of feeling within us that's related to what we're welcoming or what we're wanting to welcome. It is the surrender to the process of that coming forward, entering into the flow, and actually embodying or becoming that which we want to experience. Embodiment is the trickiest part of this thing. We actually have to, in a sense, become what it is that we want. So clearly, when we're praying for something, I think that we want to stay comfortable, at least I do. And so, maybe like me, when you pray, you're hoping that God will just stick this thing onto your life without disrupting anything else. So now you have the job you always wanted, or you have the new car you were hoping for, or you have the new love in your life that you've been looking for. You now think that that's just going to be an additional good thing in your life, and everything else will stay the same. But it's not true at all. when anything else new comes in, everything gets affected. Everything changes. It's all connected. So when we're praying, we are asking as much for ourselves to become a new person as we are for whatever it is that we think we're praying about. We're inviting an increase in the manifestation. Did I just lose my voice here? No, there I am.
No, I hear you.
We're asking for an increase in the manifestation of spirit in our lives as us in such a way that what we want to draw in or experience can't resist but be there with us. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
So we're actually praying to allow ourselves to be willing to be changed, to let go of who we thought we were, because whoever we think we are is never all of it, right? To let go of who we thought we were and to come into something larger. So first, in order to do that, we have to let go. The second thing we have to do is let in what it is we're wanting to invite, which may also mean we need to let in some other stuff as well. We might need to let in help. We might need to let in our own vulnerability. We might need to let in our experience of the unknown. So we need to let go, let it in, and then we need to remember that it isn't entirely up to us to do it all by ourselves. We need to let God do the work. There's an aspect of us that does what it can do, but there's more. And that's Spirit's end of things. So whatever we're doing, when we open up to that more, then stuff really moves forward. So we let go, we let it in, and we let God do the work. So let's talk first about letting go.
Great picture.
Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith says, all spiritual growth, 100% of it, is about releasing or eliminating rather than attaining something. Because we're already it spiritually. If God is all there is, then that's all that you can be. Then how can you add on to that? It's more a matter of revealing or letting go of the obstacles to the awareness of that allow us to come into more fullness in our experience. So first, we have to surrender worry. Any of you good at worrying? Yeah. I used to say that I was going to rent my mother out for people to worry for them because she was such a master at it. The second thing is we have to release our fear. Now, last week, we did an affirmation with a denial. And the denial was, my fear cannot harm me, or my fear cannot stop me, or my fear cannot be an obstacle. I can be effective and brilliant and still feel fear. So the recognition was that I can let it go, or I can let it be what it is without letting it be a red stoplight for me. So I am surrendering my worry, letting it go to something larger. I am letting fear not have its way with me. And finally, I trust the prayer, or I might also say, I trust the prayer, because sometimes we're having somebody else do the prayer for us, like the practitioner or our prayer partner. And so when we let go into that prayer, and that's our part of the work when someone else is praying for us, when we let go into the prayer and let go to the faith of the prayer, what we're saying is, I know that that person is doing prayer work for me, and so I surrender to their faith, to their knowing. I let that work be done for me. I let go of my resistance or fear about it, and I let them do the prayer work. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
So that's the first piece, is letting go. And then our founder, Ernest Holmes, said, or no, this is Joseph Campbell. I love this. Joseph Campbell said, we must be willing to let go of the life we have planned so as to accept the life that is waiting for us. Now, Ralph Waldo Emerson said, the only person you're destined to become is the person you decide to be, the person you choose to be, the person you allow yourself to be or to become. And so there's always more. If we have a willingness to make space in our idea of who we are, in our way of doing everything the same, to let ourselves discover the more that we are, or the more that we are, the more that wants to come through us. So the second step in all this is to let it in. Let it in what wants to come. You know, we can be really, as I said in the newsletter this week, we can really get in our own way. You ever have that experience? You know, somebody says, do you want help carrying this? Oh, no, thanks, I'm fine. I can manage. You know, do you want assistance with that? Do you need any ideas? Would you, no, thank you. I'm okay, I don't need a thing. Right? And so, when we move into letting it in, one of the things that we need to do is to move beyond our anti-dependency. A lot has been said about codependency, you know, but that's not a good thing. When you're both leaning on each other in such a way that you reinforce everything negative about each other and hold those things in place. But there is also something that we don't pay enough attention to, which is anti-dependency, which actually is that idea of believing that you can be a self-made person. That you can pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. Really? No. No one does that. Not even John Wayne. No one does that. We are all interdependent. So when we operate in an anti-dependent way, we're denying the other person the opportunity to be in community with us and to support us and participate with us in what we're creating. And we deny ourselves the opportunity to experience the richness of that connection. So it's good to question both codependency, but also to question our anti-dependency, and to see if it's time to let in more good, more help. To welcome what wants to show up, what wants to happen, what wants to become in our own lives. Ernest Holmes says, in Love and Law, no living soul can contribute one iota of happiness or peace or health or happiness to your life, and no living soul can take one iota away, only as you allow it to flow through your consciousness. So, no matter how much good the universe wants to give you, or me, if we don't let it in, or invite it, or ask for it, or welcome it, it very politely waits outside the perimeter of whatever we think we are, whatever we think our life is. So we want to be able to make space for that. And on the converse side, what he also says about, you know, really no one can ruin your day unless you decide that they have. I used to go with that phrase when I was young about, well, that's just ruined my whole day. And at some point I learned to question that, like, no, this is a moment I'm not very happy with. I'm not going to let it ruin my day. It doesn't have that much power over me. Now, I might not like this moment very much, but I'm moving on from this moment. Are you with me here?
Oh, yeah.
So, this is, I love this. This is a little bit lengthy, but this is also from Ernest Holmes, and this comes from my favorite book of his, This Thing Called You. You'll find, if you have a copy of that book, that throughout the book, there is teaching, and then there are affirmations or prayers. And this is a prayer of his. And it also has denials in it. See if you can hear them. Because we talked about affirmations and denials last week. I know that there is a presence and a perfect law irresistibly drawing into my experience everything that makes life happy and worthwhile. I know that friendship, love, and happiness belong to me. Nothing but good can go forth from me. The good that I receive is but the completion of a circle, fulfillment of my desire for all. I no longer judge according to appearances, be they mental or physical. I have placed my reliance in the power, the presence, the perfection of God. Therefore, I have dominion over all apparent evil. I repudiate its claims, cast out every fear of or belief in that which is not good, and exercise dominion by that divine right that belongs to me. I know that freedom and joy are mine today. This freedom and joy spontaneously express themselves in my experience. There is nothing in me that can obstruct their passage. There's a denial. I permit them to flow through me in all their wonder and might. I am conscious of an infinite wisdom directing me. Whatever I ought to know, I know. Whatever I ought to do, I do. Whatever belongs to me, comes to me. I am compelled to recognize my good, to understand and accept it, and to act upon it. Therefore, I declare that every step of my way is guided and guarded. With joy, I enter into the fulfillment of life. Isn't that great?
It's great.
Wow, I mean, I really feel rejuvenated after just reading it. There's so much richness in that statement of not only what is spiritual truth, but also what is inspiring and healing and uplifting, and moves our attention to what's real and what's true. So we want to welcome what wants to come. And then it's important to recognize that we don't have to do this all alone. Look at this beautiful canyon. I can't do that. Can you do that? And this little person here who's just looking in awe and observing the canyon and the rainbow here. Let God do the work. God probably has a bigger idea, a better idea. Now that doesn't mean you get to rest on your laurels and not do anything. Because remember, we have to become what we want to experience. But our becoming, we get distracted. And so in that process, we need support. And the universe brings the extra support that brings that in. Ernest Holmes says this too, practitioners. He says, when you are treating a patient, meaning a client, we don't call it patients anymore, when you're doing treatment work for your client, you have no personal responsibility for the recovery of that person. You are not healing the patient. You are setting out in an impersonal receptive mind certain statements which this one mind is going to carry into effect through the patient. If there's one, and consciousness is one, then when I know with certainty for myself, or when I know with certainty for someone else, that vibration of certainty is not only present in me, it's present everywhere at the same time because of one mind. So when the practitioner is praying for you and you're receptive to it, you allow the vibration of their knowing to affect your personal experience. And he also says, all thoughts of doubt concerning one's ability to heal come from the belief that it is the personality and not the law which does the healing. The individual practitioner is not the one who creates the result. That's creative law. What the practitioner is doing, the person praying, whether it's you praying for yourself or whomever, the person doing the praying is setting the law into motion in a specific intentional way. Not that it isn't working all the time anyway, because it is, but when we do it intentionally, we're cooperating with its power to set it into motion in a particular direction. We don't have to make it work. It never stops. It wouldn't know how to stop. It has no resistance whatsoever. So consequently, we need to know God does not need coaxing to create. Because God isn't reluctant. It's already happening. And creative law does not need our help in order to work. Ernest Holmes told this story once. He was always at the summer conferences at Asilomar. And he was talking about people thinking that they had to make the law work through concentration and attention and holding tightly onto a concept. And he said it's a little bit like the law of gravity. He said, today at Asilomar, I walked around on the grounds, and every step I took, I said, gravity, hold me down. Gravity, hold me down. Gravity, hold me down. He said it was effective, but it was a lot of work. The creative law operates like gravity. It doesn't know who you are, it doesn't care, it just does what it does. When you set it in motion in a particular way, it will follow that, because it's following you all the time. So you don't have to make it hold you down or make it do what it does. It's going to do that anyway. Our part is just our own work. And so we don't need to do it all alone because creative law is already on our side. You know, everything that we create in our experience, in our lives, happens because creative law is meant to support us. That's what its whole deal is to reinforce and bring into being whatever it is we claim and know and believe deeply, and to provide more evidence for that and to give us more experience of that. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. That's not up to creative law. It doesn't matter if it's good for you or not. Creative law doesn't know or care about that. It just follows you around and does according to your belief system. That's all it knows how to do. So when we want to embody something new in our experience, we're actually creating a new blueprint for creative law to follow. And treatment, spiritual mind treatment, is what moves our awareness or our consciousness in a way that helps to create that new blueprint. And if we're really getting it, it will also change our behavior, our emotions, our responses, and that will change our experience and our results. So, getting out of the way is powerful. And I always think about Byron Katie. Do you know who Byron Katie is?
Yeah.
I just love her. And every once in a while I think about this over again. She says, I can only find 3 kinds of business in the universe. Mine, yours, and God's. Much of our stress comes from mentally living outside of our own business. When I think you need to get a job, I want you to be happy. You should be on time. You need to take better care of yourself. I am in your business. When I'm worried about earthquakes, floods, war, or when I'll die, I'm in God's business. If I'm mentally in your business or in God's business, the effect is separation. To think that I know what's best for anyone else is to be out of my own business. Even in the name of love, it is pure arrogance, and the result is tension, anxiety, and fear. Do I know what's right for me? That's my only business. Let me work with that before I try to solve problems for you. So, surrendering to that, there's such power in surrendering to that infinite, to let it go, to let in what wants to come, what's trying to happen, to surrender to that, and to give the rest over to the infinite, and let that be God's business. Some Sundays I stand up to speak, wherever I might be, and I don't feel so great. And sometimes at the end of the talk, I think, I don't know what I was talking about this morning. And it may be that somebody comes up to me at the end and says, wow, you really helped me this morning. That's the extra. So that if I get up and do my best, and my best isn't so hot that day, the universe can take it and do something with it if I can let it go enough to trust that that's happening no matter what. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
So I want to share one last story with you about letting go and understanding the power of letting go. Down below the surface of a quiet pond lived a little colony of water bugs. They were a very happy colony, living far away from the sun. For many months, they were very busy, scurrying over the soft mud on the bottom of the pond. They did notice every once in a while, one of their colony seemed to lose interest in going about, and clinging to the stem of a pond lily, it gradually moved out of sight and was seen no more. Look, said one of the water bugs to another, one of our colony is climbing up the lily stalk. Where do you think she's going? Up it slowly went. Even as they watched, the water bug disappeared from sight. Its friends waited and waited, but she didn't return. That's funny, said one water bug to another. Wasn't she happy here? Asked a second. Where do you suppose she went? Asked a third. No one had an answer. They were greatly puzzled. Finally, one of the water bugs, a leader of the colony, gathered his friends together. I have an idea. The next one of us who climbs the lily stalk must promise to come back and tell us where he or she went and why. We promise, they all said solemnly. Well, one spring day not long after that, the very water bug who had suggested the plan found himself climbing up the lily stalk. Up and up. And before he knew what was happening, he had broken through the surface of the water and fallen onto the broad green lily pad above. When he awoke, he looked about with surprise. He couldn't believe what he saw. A startling change had come to his old body. His movement revealed 4 silver wings. Even as he struggled, he felt an impulse to move his wings. The warmth of the sun soon dried the moisture from the new body. He moved his wings again and suddenly found himself above the water. He had become a dragonfly. Swooping and dipping in great curves, he flew through the air. He felt exhilarated in this new atmosphere. And by, the new dragonfly lighted happily on a lily pad to rest. And then it was that he chanced to look below to the bottom of the pond. Why, he was right above his old friends, the water bugs. They were scurrying around, just as he had been doing some time before. The dragonfly remembered his promise. The next one of us who climbs up the lily stalk will come back and tell us where he or she went and why. Without thinking, the dragonfly darted down. Suddenly, he hit the surface of the water and bounced away. Now that he was a dragonfly, he could no longer go under the water. I can't go back, he said in dismay. At least I tried, but I can't keep my promise. Even if I could go back, not one of the water bugs would know me in my new body. I guess I'll just have to wait until they become dragonflies too. Then they'll understand what has happened to me and where I went. And the dragonfly winged off happily into its wonderful new world of sun and air. When we are in a transformation process, it isn't always something that's easy for us or other people to understand or to name or to explain or experience. But it is certainly true that if we aren't able to allow ourselves to experience the unfamiliar, the uncomfortable, the unknown, then we will never go beyond the circle that we're living inside of right now, and nothing will change. What's on the other side of this known is infinite. What's on the inside of this known, you already know all about. So if you want to embody something else, if we want to welcome something else into our lives, then it becomes time to open up and to go into that place. So there are 2 people in this congregation, Suzanne right here, and Francine Huss, who is in Michigan now, who have been saying to me over and over and over again, let the congregation know what you're looking for in terms of a place to live. Because there's so many of us, maybe we can help. If we keep our eyes open, we'll find something. And I keep saying, oh yeah, I'll do that, and then I haven't. This is exactly the kind of thing I'm talking about. Exactly. I am your visual aid this morning for that. So what I'm going to do is, if we don't find something this week as we're looking, I'm going to bring a list next week, and I'm going to leave it on a table somewhere. And if you feel inclined to know with us that this is entirely possible, all of what we want, even in Marin, at that price, then I invite you to take a sheet and know that it's coming. And just, even if you don't know anything about anything like that at all, just put it on your altar and know that it's done. All right?
All right.
And then we'll see. Yeah. So that is the deal for this morning. And that is what I have to tell you. Yes?
Let's not wait till next week.
Oh, I don't have the list with me. I mean, it's a list. It's a list. We're very specific about what we want. What? No, I'm not going to take the time right now. I'm not going to do it right now because it's time for us to move on. We have lots to do. But I will get stuff to you, I promise. And you can, come and shake me if I don't bring it for you next week. So I don't want that. So we won't do that. So let's pray. All right? Ready? We're going to actually do a spiritual mind treatment together right now. And you can, the practitioners are going to surround the room and join us now in holding this awareness, this consciousness for all of us together. I invite you to place your hands over your heart. If you're comfortable doing so, you can close your eyes. Imagine that you're stepping over a threshold. You're stepping over a threshold that marks the boundary between everything that you know about already, everything you know how to do, everything you think you are. And you're stepping over a boundary into what you want to be an experience in your life. Into that unknown that changes you. Right here, just as on the inside of the known, right here, just on the outside of the known, is the divine presence in fullness. It is wisdom, guidance, love. It is abundance, peace, vision. It is joy, creativity, love, delight. And in this unknown and unbounded place, even more of it is available. And so, right here and now, I not only claim that for us, but I know that's what we are too. We are all of that, all of those qualities, all that God is right here in us. And whatever we have need of, it is drawn to us as we take the risk to stand on the other side, just into the unknown. Receptive, listening, waiting, with anticipation of great good, with open expectancy to allow the more to be revealed in what we need to do or know, and in what we need to let go of and what we need to let in. Here in this place, I know that God knows exactly how to tailor all these answers to us so that we could not possibly miss them. And our job is simply to be receptive and then to act. I'm grateful to know that we are designed to be capable of this, and it is already taking place. So I let this prayer go easily because it's already done. And together we say, and so it is. Yes, and so it is.
If there is a God,